Beautiful. So I can come across to where you are. I can find our call. We are already live by the time it gets here. I just have to go and find the call. Here we are here. I'm just going to bring our little page up here for you. Looking for you. Good morning, good morning. And of course, I need to turn my volume down. Good morning, everybody. It is fabulous, fabulous to be here. Good morning, Fiona. Good morning to everyone who's coming to join us on the call for your tapping circle, the weekly tapping circle. For me, it is 9:30 on a Monday morning here in Sydney, Australia. Oops, if you notice, for many of you, I know that we have many watchers from the US and from the UK, particularly given the time frame. It's Sunday for you guys. You haven't had the early morning wake up like we have. So let me just make this bigger, because what I want to put in here is, oops, let me get rid of that. I just want to put in our little website in here again. Morning, Rachel, how you doing? So I just want to put in the website here again. On the website, of course, we have our free courses. We have a number of freebies that everyone can come and join on. So while other people come and join, looks like I'm a couple of minutes late this morning, so I will very quickly get us started so we can get into our tapping. Now, who am I? I'm Lorna. I am the founder of the Australian Tapping Institute. Our primary flagship program here is practitioner of EFT and life coach training. We are a global school. We are 100% online. So wherever you are in the world, if EFT practitioner training is for you, check out our 100% online course. It is working, functional, fabulous, great community. I did a stock take the other day. There's like 65 hours of content in the school already, not to mention all the live calls that we do through the month as well. So if practitioner trainings for you, get in touch with me. If it's not, I have a bunch of free courses that you are very, very welcome to enroll yourself in. I put the link of our website here in the call, australiantappinginstitute.com.au. Click up on the right-hand side, you'll see free courses or home study, it might say. The Self-Love Project is an introduction to tapping. It is a tapping-based program. It is audios and workbooks, and it's to help quiet that inner critic and get the inner coach voice turned up. You are welcome to join us in that one. The other one is the Your Life by Design. Very welcome to have you in that. It's more coaching-based, so it was originally written for our life coach people who may or may not want to come train with us, but it's my gift to you as well. Your Life by Design will help you sort of get a couple of little gremlins out of your own head by doing the work at home. So again, let's get journals and pens and paper handy, and let's get into this week's class of managing daily stress with EFT. So we're going to start by getting grounded into the room, so it's super easy. We're all here and we're all, in the zone. Even though part of me isn't grounded and it's not present, I am going to choose to feel grounded right now. Even though part of me is somewhere else, I can't stop thinking of everything I have to do. I choose to feel present now. Even though part of me isn't grounded and present, got so many other things to do, I'm going to give myself permission to be here and to be on this call. I choose to feel present now. And let me just move my little keyboard. I usually get that all done long before I get to you guys. Oops, let's get the mouse over here so I can move the class instructions as we go. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now I can do it with my left hand while I tap with you on my right hand. So we're just going to go through the points. If you're brand new with us, don't overthink it. Don't think at all. I want you to feel and just go through the points. Here on the eyebrow, I'm just not grounded. The side of the eye, there's too much going on. Under the eye, there's just too much going on. I just can't stop. I can't stop thinking. It's hard to focus on this. Always too much to do. I'm going to choose to let it go. I'm going to choose to feel present, feeling present in the now, feeling grounded in the now. I choose to feel safe and feel grounded. I choose to feel present now, feeling present and grounded. Permission to be on the call. Permission for time for myself. Permission to give time to me. Permission to be here on this call. Feeling present. Feeling grounded. Present in my body. Present in my body. Safe and grounded. Feeling safe and grounded. Feeling safe and grounded. Now let's get into today's course. So again, I just want to fix up my little mouse. I tend to move it with my left hand while I tap with you on my right hand. So journals out. Let's talk about stress. Your stress in particular. Excuse me, I had my little drink. I said I can talk for now, but not without some fluids. So where does stress come from? What actually is happening in the body when you've got some stress coming on? Where does yours come from? What triggers your stress? Do you even know what triggers your stress? Do you even know where it comes from? Is your stress random? Do you suffer from it some days more than other days? Does it happen in other circumstances, particularly around some other people? Is it certain people? Is it a certain place you are? Specific events that are happening? Specific location? I want to connect you into what causes your stress, what gives you your stress, what creates the stress response in your body. I want you to start to get to know exactly what it is. How long does your stress last for? Is it something that carries on all day? The minute it happens, that's it, the day's just full of stress? Or is it something that comes and goes? Does it come at certain times of the day? It's all about awareness. I want you to get aware. Do you remember the very first time you felt stressed? Do you remember where it started? Do you remember how it started? Do you remember maybe what you were doing? Can you remember a time when you didn't have stress in your life? Can you remember a time when stress wasn't an issue? Is this something you can actually remember? I'm going to take a very quick screenshot of this and I'm going to pop it into the questions so that if people are watching this later on, or you want to come back to it later on when you've got more time, there it is in the question box. So if you want to come back to this later and you want to go more in depth with the questions are now in the little box here on the page. So before we start tapping, I actually want you to think about the stress level you feel today. Think about your stress rating, stress level that you're feeling in the moment, or if you're not feeling particularly stressed now, you're pretty calm at the moment, think about something that did cause you stress, a particular incident that you had, a particular event that you had, a particular time that you had. I want you to go back and think about one of those, right? So that you have a specific incident in this class, in this call, to actually focus on. Because what I want you to do is do a 0 to 10 rating. A 0 being, I've got no stress, I've got no trigger, I've got no anxiety about that particular event at all, and right up to a 10. 10 means I'm at the max, I'm not coping in that situation, I'm merely feeling the stress, I'm not happy in that space. 0 to 10, I want you to write down what your rating is, because I want you to show you how EFT is going to bring it down for you. So we need to tag it at the beginning and write down what is the actual rating. So what is it? 0 to 10 for yours. 10 being really, really stressed about it. 0 being pretty okay with it, pretty sort of calm with it, not particularly bothered at all. Write down your number because we're going to come back to it. So let's go and do some tapping. Now again, don't worry, overthink this. Don't think about the points. Just follow along. If you miss one, don't worry. One thing I didn't mention, and you probably won't have questions because I'm going to get you to do lots of tapping in this call, If you have a question, put a Q in front of it in the question box, in the comments box, so I know it's a question and I can come back to it for you. It gets very busy in there when you're running a class and trying to see where all of the questions are coming in. It gets a little bit busy in there. So if you could just do a Q at the beginning of your question if you have one, that would be fantastic, and then I can come back to your actual question at some point in time in the call. So let's do some tapping again. All of this stress, my stressful life. All of this stress, my stressful life. Just move that over, it's easier if it's not like that. My stressful life. All of this stress, all this stress, all of this stress. Every day. Stress every day. All of this stress, daily stress, all this stress, all my stress. Every day. I get stressed about things that I can control. I get stressed about things that I can't control. I get stressed about things that I shouldn't control. I get stressed about things that are out of my control. Control keeps me safe. Or so I think. The control really holds me back. Every day, stress every day, all this stress, daily stress, all this stress, all my stress, every day. All the things that I get stressed about, all of these things that I stress about, all the stress, there's just too much stress. All this stress, all this stress, all of my stress. I get stressed about things that I can control, and the things I can't control, and the things that I shouldn't control. I get stressed about things that are out of my control. All the things that are out of my control. Because I think control equals safety. But control actually keeps me stuck. So I'm going to check in here again as we stop tapping, and I want to go back to that original number. Has your rating come down at all yet? There is, of course, a chance that it's peaked, that it's gone and got higher. I want you to come back to the original question about your stress. How stressed do I feel when I think about it now, or an event that I think about that's happened before? Most of your numbers should have come down. As I said, not uncommon for it to peak, because your stress is going to then bring in and start to open up other little questions, other little conversations, and others emotions that you may or may not be feeling. So just take a note now at this point in time of what your numbers come down to, or gone up to. Take a note of it, and we're going to come back to it again. We're going to keep acknowledging this negative side of this stress. We'll keep tapping on all this stress. My daily stress. I get stressed every day. I go to bed and I think that it's over, no longer stressed, and that it will all pass. So by the morning, when I wake up, it's back again. This stress returns. My daily stress. There seems no relief. No relief from my stress. All of my stress. All of this stress. My daily stress. I feel stress every day. Some days are worse than other days. Some days it's quite mild. Some days it's really intense. My daily stress, all of my stress, all of this stress that I feel each day, everyday stress, all of my stress every day. Now I want you to go back and I want you to check on that rating again, 0 to 10. When you think about your stress today, has your rating come up or gone down? How stressed do you feel today? Is it a particular time in a particular event you're thinking of? Or is it right now that when you're up today and you're doing your thing today, is it how stressed you're feeling today? Take a note of that number. Now let me really quickly tell you what happens in the body when it undergoes stress. We've got some more coming on. Hey Donna and hey Joe, welcome. Great to have you on the call. What happens when the body undergoes stress? Now there's a tiny part of your brain that's your fight or flight response. It's known as a stress response. It's an amygdala, the chemical name or the technical name. You just need to know it's a stress response. This stress response releases a multitude of hormones and adrenals and cortisol, all sorts of stuff into your lymphatic system, into your body. Now, your fight or flight was intended to make you move. Things wanted to eat you. You'd be walking along in the middle of the jungle and you'd go, nothing, nothing, nothing. Something moved. Stress response. It's that instant bzz to make you take particular attention, particular awareness. Now, imagine if your body is doing that on a daily basis. Now, we know that these chemicals, they shut down creative thinking, they start to shut down synapses of the brain, they start to shut down digestion, reproduction, anything that's not essential to life right this minute, those sorts of systems start to shut down. They're obviously not instantly, but imagine if you're in a chronic stress. Imagine if you're stressed every day, all day, and this fight or flight and these toxic chemicals keep releasing. Of course you're going to feel overwhelmed. Of course you're going to feel you're not coping. Of course you're going to feel that things are too much, because that toxic chemical cocktail that's released into your body every time your fight or flight triggers is going to continually compound itself. So when people say if you get upset, go for a walk, it's because the lymphatic system has no pump. And the only way we can make it work is by movement. Unlike the heart that's got the pump to go with it, the lymphatic system doesn't. So if you're in a chronic state of stress and you constantly have this fight or flight triggering, it is long-term going to start to affect everything from your cognitive function. So you're going to feel fuzzy in the brain. You're going to think that you can't think things through and you can't have logical, and you're right, you can't, because the chemicals in the brain that are released at fight or flight are causing all of this. So it's imperative that we get our stress responses down and our stress levels down so that the body can function optimally as it's meant to. So that's a little bit of a sciencey head as to what's actually happening in the brain. It does shut things down. Now, when we used to have tigers wanting to eat us and things, the brain was, that stress response was fantastic. In modern day life, it is triggered still by threats, but our threats today are usually things we're worried about, things we're thinking about. Yeah, sure, there's events that have happened to us or things that could be going to happen, but they're all triggered from thoughts and memories. So it's the thoughts and memories that the tapping gets to work on to untag all the previous thoughts and memories so that the future thoughts and memories aren't as scary and aren't as threatening to the brain. The unconscious brain. We're not talking logical, we're talking the unconscious brain and its sole job to keep you alive. So I hope that's sort of giving you a little bit of a sciencey head over it. Please ask questions if it hasn't, or you're not quite sure what I mean, but just know that your fight or flight is your stress response, and when it's triggered, the body's flooded with toxins and chemicals, and you want to get them moving. They are not good for our body in a long-term space. So let's continue to do some more global tapping before we start to get specific. All of this stress, all of my stress, all of this stress, my own stress, my body's stress, all the stress response in my body. So much stress. All of this stress, too much stress. Daily stress. all my stress, too much stress, too much stress, daily stress. My body feels this stress. I feel this stress. I can feel what it's doing to me. I can feel it now. This feeling in my body, this feeling that I have, this response to this stress. Now, those of you who have been with us for the last couple of months and had on this particular call, the tapping circle call, will be very familiar with the tabletop and the table legs analogy that I have part of this with this call. So the tabletop analogy is when we do work in tapping, if you can imagine the tabletop is your stress. It is what you can language to me. It's what you can tell me you've got, what you can tell me is going on. Your tabletop is stress. However, we want to do the work in the table legs. We know that the table legs, as an analogy, is where we know all the stuff's going on, right? So it could be the events, it's the situations, it's the things that were said to you or the things that were done to you, the things you said, the things they said. What also it could be is the meaning that you gave to every single one of those events. They become our table legs, all right? We want to play in the table legs. So the rest of the tapping, I want you to focus on what the table legs are of your stress. What holds it in place? What actually is happening? What's actually going on for you? What is your stress all about? Oh, just let me move over that little message that's come through. I want you to focus there. I want you to take your concentration into what's in your table legs, what could be holding it up. Events, situations, things you said, things they said, things that were done, actual events. Because each one of them we give meaning to. All right, so we're going to go and start playing in table legs now. These thoughts that come to me, these things that happen to me, just going to move that over. Oops, I've lost it. It'll take me to go and click buttons, won't it? So what I'm up to, these things that cause my stress response. The things that go through my head, the memories, and the retelling of my story. All of the activities, they activate the stress response again and again. This stress in my body, all of my thoughts, all of my memories, the endless stress. It feels like there's no end to it. No end in sight for my stress. Can't even imagine not having it. I can't imagine not feeling it. I say that I don't want to feel all of this stress, but I am a little bit afraid. In the back of my mind, this fear of what my life might be like if I didn't experience this regular stress response all the time. A bit like a friend. That one that hangs around even when you don't want it to. The old and the comfortable. The feelings hanging around. All of this stress. All these stressful feelings. I do want them to stop. I want the stress to stop. But how do I make it stop? All the things that have happened in my past, all the things that happen to me each and every day, all these stressful things, the fear of things that I don't even know, didn't even know I was afraid of, triggering this fear response, triggering my fearful thoughts, all these fearful memories, all the things that have happened, all those things that did happen, I worry about now. The things that I worry that might happen, that did happen, all these worrying thoughts, all of these worries, thoughts through my head, causing my stress, fearful thoughts from my past, projected into my future, my past memories, projected into my future as something to be feared. All my worrying thoughts, all my fearful memories, all my worrying thoughts, all of these memories, all triggering in my body that there is a threat. And my body keeps me safe. All of my worries about what might happen, my worries about things that I have no control over. Why is control about? What do I need it? What am I worrying about really? All these worries, all my worries, the things I worry about, over and over again. All of these worries, all of my worries. What am I worrying about really? So I want you to stop tapping now. I hope like you're like me and you really feel the energy of tapping. You really feel that sort of running through your body and that sort of running through your blood system. So I want you to go back to your original question. Sort of from a stressful point of view, how stressed do you feel when you think about the original event you thought of? Or is it the stress you simply feel right in this moment? Take a note again. Is it a 0 to 10? Where are you sitting? How far has it come down? If it hasn't come down at all, is it a different thought or a different event that you're looking at? If it hasn't come down also, are there other thoughts that are popping into your head while we're tapping? Write those down. Because remember, I do global tapping here. I'm not sitting specifically in front of one person, so the tapping that I do while I start to get specific isn't as specific as your thoughts are going to be and your words are going to be. All right? So if you have other words come up while we're doing this, absolutely write them down and know that that's one of your tapping points. You may do 5 minutes. It may be all you need to do. You just do 5 minutes of tapping on that specific word. It will make an element of difference in your life if you were to do that. So here I want to have a bit of a really touchy little sort of part of the question. So I know from the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I work with regularly that quite often when we have something that we want to give up, stress is a good one, that there is a secondary gain to that. So what do I mean by secondary gain? Say if you were to give up the stress in your life, what would happen if you didn't have stress? Most people go, well, I'm going to feel fantastic, I'm going to feel amazing. And true, you will. But quite often there is a little bit of a gain sitting in the back of the brain that if you were to give up the stress, you've got to give up the payoffs and the benefits. So when people go, well, there's no real benefit to me having stress, quite often there is. Now remember this, while this is touchy, I want you to come from a place of personal truth. I want you to just simply be truthful to you And that's why I've included this question in this call. What do you get to avoid by having stress in your life? Now, I know the question's pretty unusual, but just bear with me and just think about it from a secondary gain. People who hang on to old patterns of behaviour are doing it because the pain of what they have now, even though it may not be great, it feels safer than the unknown of the pleasure that they could have. The pain is known. We are creatures of habit as humans. We want to sit in our safety. We want to be comfortable. We will put up with the pain of what we know is dysfunction and doesn't work because the pleasure of the unknown is stressful in itself. Because if you don't know what the change will mean, it's like, well, I've done this change and I'm here, but I really want to be back here because that felt more comfortable. Change and transformation and taking your power back can be really stressful things for people because they're not used to doing it. So I want you to think about, what does it mean to have stress in your life? What do you get out of it? Do you get help around the house from the family? Do you get to avoid doing tasks at your office, at work, because they're too hard for you? And you know, it may not be that they're too hard, but you may be a bit worried about what happens if I get it wrong, and what if I don't know how to do it right, and what are people going to say? All of those things play in the unconscious brain too, feelings of safety. Do you get more help from family and friends or family around the home? Do your friends kind of allow you to be late for things? Do your friends allow you to be a little bit, you know, not having to be such a great friend? Do they allow you to not have to step up and, you know, I said I was going to do this, but I didn't do it, but it doesn't matter because I'm stressed? Is a little bit of a safety net for you? Is a little bit of a get out of jail free card for you? And it may not be for you. I'm just throwing around ideas that I want you to take on and see where they sit with you, because they may not be for you. But for many, many of us, there are. So I just want to play with a little bit and see what pops up for you. All right? Do you get to leave your kids with somebody else so you get a bit of a break from the kids? Does it bring attention to you? Do you get your mum fussing over you or your best friend fussing over you and things like that because you're so stressed? Remember, this isn't to make you feel bad or victimized or threatened. It is simply because I want you to know your truth. I want you to feel your truth. So many of us are surrounded by people who aren't truthful, but the saddest part is so many of us are not truthful to ourselves. And the best place to bring back your personal power and to feel really empowered and to take control of your life is in your own truth. Whether you like your truth or not, doesn't matter. It doesn't make it bad. It simply is your truth. That's why I ask these sort of, you know, little bit hard-hitting questions in these calls, because I want you to get to your truth. What do you get out of hanging on to it? What do you get out of saying you're so stressed? What do you get out of it? Because every behaviour, even that seems dysfunctional, serves each and every one of us. So we need to work out what that is so we can clear it away for ourselves. Because while it's hanging on, it's really hard to move forward, dragging that with us, when you can just go, I know what it is, I recognise it, and I can dump it here, and then I can move on. And that's what we actually absolutely want for you, is to be able to just dump it and move on. All right? So let's go straight back to the tapping. Alrighty, what do I get out of having my stress? What do I get to avoid? What do I get from my family or my friends? What do I get by being stressed? Even though this feels so bad. To even think like this, but maybe I do gain. Maybe I do get something out of being so stressed. But it feels bad to even think like this. Even just to think that I create these thoughts. I just thought about it and a response came. All the things coming at me. Each and every day. I never looked at it any deeper. I never even really thought about it. Other than it happens every day. and I'm tired. It makes me tired. It makes me exhausted. It affects my whole day, every day, and the quality of my life. I'm tired and I want to let it go. All the stress, all the thoughts. What could I actually do different? What could I change? What could I do different? How could I take some of my personal power back to overcome the stress? How could I make changes? What would it even look like? Would I need loads of courage? Would I need to change everything? What will happen to all those things that I have to do every day? My stress won't go away. Not overnight. But maybe I can make little changes. Maybe I can get some awareness of these thoughts that I have. The ones I roll over and over and over, and then I worry about them. The conversation that I have every single day of how much I have to do, that I still have to do it. But I could change what I say about it. It's my thoughts and my repeated story and my repeated worry that's causing all of this. I could do some of this tapping each day. When a thought comes up, I could do some tapping. I could just do some tapping. I could change my thoughts. I can acknowledge them and send them on their way. I could acknowledge that I have a lot to get through, but change the words that I say about it. I could acknowledge that, yep, I am busy, but without the repeated story that I have so much to do. But I'm able to do it. I could say, I can't do it, that I have too much on my plate. I could stop those conversations, the ones in my own head, the ones I say to others, the story I say to myself. I could focus on how capable I am, how I always manage to get it done, and how I don't want to be exhausted anymore, and how I'm ready to manage this. All of this stress, I am ready to let it go. It's not working for me. Not really. It keeps me stuck in a pattern that I don't like. And I'd like to change that. Baby steps by baby steps. One day at a time. Less telling myself that I'm not good enough and that I can't and that I'm not able and that I'm too overwhelmed. Today I will say it less. Today, I'll say that I can. Yes, I do have lots to do, but I am capable just for today. I can say this. I can and I will. And tomorrow I'll say it even more. I'll say that I can even more. Then again the next day. And each day, one less conversation to myself. One less overwhelm. And one less not being capable. One more day of saying, I can. And I will. One more time today. I will say I can. I will tell myself I am capable. And that I am able. Stop tapping. I'm hoping you're feeling it. I really am hoping you're feeling it. We're coming to the home straight now. Love doing this call with you guys. So I want you to quickly think back to a class we did the other week, the white bucket and the black bucket, and the concept of where you're going to focus. Your focus is what brings about your change. You can focus on everything that's going to go wrong or everything that's going to go right. All right, and we're going to do our final sort of rounds of tapping on focus and focus and focus. Where am I putting my focus? You've got whatever words have popped up during the call. You've written them down. Excuse me. You've written all of them down. So what I want you to do is know that they are your tapping points for through this week. You're going to do 5 minutes of tapping on each of the other little words that have popped up. That's your own play. And imagine the change that you're going to be able to do by focusing on that. Rather than sitting in your stress, you're going to be doing something proactive about it. So could some of your stress be relieved by changing your focus? I believe it can. So we're going to continue doing some more tapping on all of that to start shifting the thought processes out of your way. Could moving beyond my stress really be this simple? Could I really work on changing simply where I focus? What I give my attention to? Could it be this simple? To let go of some of my stress. What can I choose to do different? What can I do to help myself? Am I ready to release this hold? Am I ready to make other choices? Am I ready to take that step into thinking maybe I can have different? I'm not so sure yet. Because I don't even know what that looks like. I'm not so sure, but I am curious about what I could consider, about what might be there beyond all this stress that I carry around. Could I really be able to move beyond my stress, to see that glimmer of hope, to see some light at the end of my own tunnel? Could I really be able to have my life different? Is it possible? Could I try to look to different ways to change my own life? Could I really do this? Is it possible for me? If I've had this stress for so long, I can't remember not having it. I can't remember when it wasn't part of who I am. I can't remember when I wasn't feeling stressed about something or about someone. But I am willing to try. I am willing to give it some focus. I am willing to see what I can change. That is different. What can I do different to what I have been doing? I am willing to try, to focus elsewhere, to look at things different, to think that I can, to think that just maybe I can look at my own issues and move away from them. Stop tapping everyone and feel the flow through the body. Now, stress absolutely is debilitating on a daily basis. I talked about the chemicals, I talked about the release of the toxins, the adrenals, everything absolutely flooding your whole adrenal system, the lymphatic system, all of those. And it doesn't have a pump. The only way to shift it is through movement. Tapping is part of movement. So is walking, exercise, daily movement is what we need. It can lead, if you sit in your stress for so long, to you needing other interventions. You know, people end up on medication for it and stuff. Try not to go down that path. I'm not suggesting come off your medication, but try to take control and take some power back in your own life by doing some of the work to relieve some of the stressful environments for yourself. I know tapping can really help where people need it to. I have been doing this for a decade now, and I know that it can. If you were to make tapping part of your daily ritual, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, walking down the street, you've all seen this is my go-to place. I will often just use this, and this is what I tell all my clients to do as they leave my studio, anyone who comes to see me. You can tap by doing this. You do not have to do all the facial points. You don't have to do the head point. This can be as effective on a daily basis as a tool to help you. People overthink it. People think they need all these fancy sentences. Obviously, I spend, a couple of hours creating this class for you. That's where all the sentences come from. But you could just tap here, all this stress, all this stress. Or you could step into another space, that thing that happened, and simply tap for 5 minutes on that thing that happened. Now, if you're on public transport, in somewhere public, and you don't want to be conspicuous, this is the perfect way to tap. It's how I do it all the time. Now, to not overthink, my sentences are, I have 3 of them. Use either one of these sentences as your favorite. I am safe. Now, I am safe will get you over just about any little stressful trauma, incident, event right in this moment. I am safe. Or I am fine. Or I am okay. 3 simple words. You don't need a whole sentence. You don't need to remember anything fancy anybody told you in tapping. This will do the job. I am safe, or I am fine, or I am okay. And I'd love for you to take this away and make this your daily ritual, 5 minutes. I said you can do it wherever you are. You can do it while you're brushing your teeth. You can do it in the shower. You can do it sitting on the loo. You can do it coming and going from work. You could do it making dinner, stirring something on the stove, whatever. Wherever you've got a spare hand, you could do this. And I'd love for you to make it part of your daily ritual to reduce your own stress. So we're almost near the end of the class. Let me move this away. Do I have any questions coming up? Yeah, we got some. I have some questions, and here I have been busy tapping away. Let me just see what questions we have. Oh, they're all good mornings, my darlings. Hello, everybody. Fabulous to all have you here. Sue, identity comes to mind. Yes, stress and identity, definitely. If I'm not stressed and people don't run around and fuss after me and people don't interact with me as the stressed person, who am I going to be without it? So you're spot on, Sue. Definitely an identity issue. Comes with a lot of people with stress, and that's also part of that secondary gain. If I'm no longer stressed, what do I have to give up? Who's no longer going to help me? Who's no longer going to come rescue me? Who's no longer going to come to my aid? Who's no longer going to do those things they do if I'm no longer stressed? So yes, secondary gain, and yes, Sue, identity issues, definitely. So let's finish up with some positive tapping. If people have questions as we come to the end of the class, please ask. I am happy to stay here for as long as you guys want me to be here for you. It is about you guys. This will be replayed later. At the beginning of the call, I did add in the questions that we asked because I want you to tap in one last time and check on your number. So if you're feeling your stress levels in the moment. Whatever you looked at the beginning of the call, whether it's your stress levels in the moment, whether it's the stress you think of an event or a person that you've had an interaction with that does cause you stress, when you think about that, go back to what your number is. Tell me how low it has come. And tapping, we always want to aim for a 0, 1, 2 at the absolute highest. If it's any higher than 2, we want to keep working on it. If it doesn't continue to come down, maybe there's other aspects to it. Maybe there's other words. Maybe there's another emotion that isn't quite coming up that's around stress for you. As I said, remember, stress is a tabletop. It's the legs we want to play in. What are the events? What are the situations? What's the environment? What's the conversation you're having with yourself? That's where we want to play, down in the bottom, in the table legs. So let's go and do some positive tapping, everybody. So I want you to add your words. My words are always going to be, I am fabulous. I don't even take my glasses off, so I am fabulous. I am amazing. I want you to add in your own words here. I am great child, perhaps. I'm a fabulous brother or sister. I'm a great parent. I'm great at my job. I'm a fabulous sportsman. Great at my business. I want you to add in yours. Mine are always going to be there. They're my favorites. I'm compassionate. I am loving. I am caring. I am happy. I bring joy. I inspire people. I uplift others. I take personal responsibility. What is it for you? Tell me your words, or say them to yourself. I don't need you to type them in, but I do need you to use whatever words of yours are popping up right now. Your words are always going to be more powerful than mine because they're yours. Trust in your words. Fabulously, uplifted, inspiring, achieving, desiring, capable, able, determined. What are they for you? Imagine doing a couple of minutes a day on those sorts of words where you just say the words that pop into your head that are great about you and reinforce all the things that are great about you. Because too much of our life is spent in negative, in I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and oh, well, why should I have that? And why it would be arrogant to think that way of myself. Versus me who goes, really? Were we not put on this planet to do great things? Were we really put on this planet to play a small game? I don't think so. Take back your power. Own your own circumstances. Because this is where it's all happening. So let's finish up with our grounding tapping again. I am at choice. I am always at choice. I am aware. I am going to really start having fun again. Playing it small is not me. I am at choice every day. I am always at choice. It feels safe to change. Safe to let go of my past. I don't need to look at everything that happened, but I can feel safe now. I can feel safe and grounded. Feeling safe and grounded. Safe in my own body. I choose to feel present. Present and grounded. More and more present. More and more grounded. I choose to feel grounded. I choose to feel safe. I choose to own my personal power in my own body. Thank you once again for being here with me on this call. I absolutely love being able to take you through different tapping routines, show you different ways that tapping can really help to change your world, really help to change who you are, how you show up, what you manifest for yourself, what you allow in. Tapping is an amazing tool for allowing all of this great stuff to come to your world simply and easily. So I would love for you to be people who do lots and lots and lots of tapping. Particularly if you're new to tapping, I would absolutely love for you to do lots more tapping. Now, for those who joined in later, there is on the AustralianTappingInstitute.com.au, we do have a number of free courses that you can take. The Self-Love Project, I should tell you, it's up in the top right-hand corner of the webpage. It will say home study, or I think it says home study. Maybe it says free online courses as well, but there's a few places on the front page you can get them. The Self-Love Project is very tapping based. It's about, let's clear out that inner critic in your head and let's get that inner coach to make their voice louder and louder and louder. So the Self-Love Project is very tapping based. My gift to you, if you have not downloaded it already, the second gift we have is Your Life by Design. It was originally written for people who were thinking about being life coaches. However, now we've just opened up to the public for people, anyone who might be curious about what life coaching does, but also if you're ready to just make some steps and make some changes and make some improvements in your life, it's a really great program. It will just walk you through. There's some videos and audios on there and a workbook, and it'll start to help you clear out some of the stuff in your own head and be your own coach. You can do that simply and easily. So those two freebies are there. We will be back here. Actually, I won't be here next Monday. Before I committed to the whole program, I had a prior commitment on Monday the 15th that I can't be here for. So I won't see you next Monday, but I'll definitely be back the one after. If you have a topic you would like me to cover, please let me know and I will happily cover a topic that you would like to see covered. We have quite a number of them here. If you haven't seen them here on the Facebook page on Spiritual Events Directory, they are on my blog on AustralianTappingInstitute.com.au. They are also on our YouTube channel, so they can be accessed if you have not been able to watch all the other calls here. We've done rejection and body confidence and financial abundance and a whole range of others. I think this is episode number 9. So there are a number of calls there. That's another place you can access these. If you have questions, please, you can find me on Australian Tapping Institute's Facebook page. Please don't put no messages here for me in Spiritual Events Directory. Sarah has way too much traffic to kind of monitor questions for the presenters on here. But please get in touch with me. Come to Australian Tapping Institute on the Facebook page or the website. Join us and start bringing some amazing tapping into your day, into your life. Sitting here on the call are a whole bunch of our practitioners who are training with us. Any of them will attest to how amazing tapping is. And I would love to have you in the course. If EFT practitioner life coach training is for you, drop me a line, get in touch, have a chat. As long as we can bring more and more tapping to the world, I am a happy, happy bunny. So I will see you not next Monday, but the Monday after, back in on the 22nd. It's probably what, the 21st for many of you. And I will send my love to you, put my glasses on so I can see, and I will see each and every one of you on the next call. See you later.